And again, just welcoming everyone to our Global Heart Resonance call here this morning. We're here as planetary stewards committed to this field of love and resonance. So just as I was sharing, for those that are new, just simply this is a participatory call, and we invite you to speak 1 to 2 minutes. And for those that are on the phone, to just say your name, because it really allows for them to have a sense of greater wholeness. And the main thing is we really honor the pause, the space in between, this liminal space. So as people are sharing, we are inviting you to take at least like a 30-second pause in between people today. We're not going to have a bell or anything. We're just trusting the momentum and the coherence that gets built as we share, and as this pause allows us. I mean, today our call is, creating space for the new. And this is exactly how it happens. We just allow this pause, and within that spaciousness seems to grow and also inform us. It's where the field informs us. So with that, let's just start with a little resonance here this morning. So the invitation is to, as long as you're not driving or walking, Marion, to just close your eyes and invite all aspects of ourselves, all dimensions, every experience that we've had over this year, 2018, to come be present with us here in this circle. And to really embrace all of this as energy, as movement. Not that it's good or bad, it simply is and simply has been. And as we create the space for the new, we just bring our loving attention to our heart and allow the breath to open and deepen, and allow us feeling our connection with the earth, our gratitude for the mother, for all her nurturance over this year, for her love, her willingness to show up. And honoring the ancestors, all those that have been before and are here now with us, our guides, our guidance. And just hold this field with gratitude, allowing it to fill our hearts, connecting us with the real divinity that we are, this divine essence flowing through, this expression of soul. So we come here to open, to receive that information. So we're just breathing that in now. Feeling this communion within this circle. And feeling this resonant field, this field of light, just ripple ever so gently through our bodies, out to the circle, out to our families, and our extended families, our communities. And just today, feeling the sense of the earth as a whole being. That we are, that we're connected to deeply through these waters. And as we create space, then we move into the new, to start out with that gratitude for your whole being, how you've shown up, how you have forgiven yourself for maybe things that you didn't feel were in alignment with the essence of who you are, the steps you've taken, the people that you've met. There's so much gratitude. And really honoring the beauty of all life, here as we begin this call this morning. So with that, just welcome everyone who's here. Thank you for joining us. And just a simple note, because I don't want to end the call with this, that this call today is really an opening into immersing ourselves in what's called the 7 days of rest and reflection. And if you don't know anything about it, I'll put something in the chat box for you to be able to take a look. But simply a way for us to come together, honoring the 7 foundations of life, and learning how to rest in action. Really beginning this year in connection and love and deepening our relationship with the elements that so give us life. So with that, I'm going to pass this beautiful crystalline talking stick to Henry, who's going to open our call. And for those that are new, please, when you're ready and you feel like you want to share, you just unmute yourself and just share who you are, and welcome everyone and Happy New Year. Henry, I pass it over to you.
Thank you, Shelley. Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful space that was created in the attunement. And now that we have created space in our minds, in our hearts, the reflection is creating space for the new, for the good, true, and beautiful in me and you and all of life. Creating space for the love, the light that we are to be and flourish. Creating space for new possibilities, vistas, and horizons to birth a new heaven and a new earth. So breath is what sustains us, it's what moves us, it's a core pillar of life. But what happens in between the breath? What is left at the end of the exhale? Often, it's where we find space. And in space, truth. As we enter into a new moment, a new year in our lives, we yearn to create change. We want to let go, to move on. But in order for something new to be created, we must first create and hold space. In the same way, the darkness needs light. Creativity needs space. We're so eager for something new, we forget the importance of that. And when we don't honor the space between, there's no room to create newness. And we quickly find ourselves falling back into old patterns. Instead of rushing into a new phase, our new goals, we need to slow down and honor what we find at the end of the exhale. Sit in stillness, in the shadows, and respect what they have to say. Breathe into the truth we find there so it can begin to create space. The truth must first be heard and held, and only then can we release it in honor of what is to come. That's from Alexandria Floyd. And as I created space in preparation for today, kind of another piece came in that I believe Shelley suggested in the attunement. It's all about a state of readiness. So it's creating space, but it's also a readiness for the new and the cultivation of the gardens of our hearts and our minds and our body temples that we do here in this circle, and practicing being ready for the new each day and each moment, and especially in the pregnant pauses that we have. So today we invite you to just open to how you create space and open to that place of readiness for the new. And we invite you to share. And also, as Shelley expressed, to leave a space in between each sharing of approximately 30 seconds. Is that what you said, Shelley? So thank you. I'm complete.
So from the space we ask that you feel when you feel ready to share, and just what's ever moving in you, knowing that it's a gift from the whole to the rest of us. So with that, I'm complete, and open the field.
Good morning, this is Nahid. This subject is precious and dear to my heart, creating a space. For years in my teaching, I always used creating a space is definition of love. Creating a space for ourselves, for others, for the creation to unfold to the truth that it is, not what I think I should give it or somebody else should give it to me. It's interesting. It was just perfect attunement. For me, gratitude, sitting and attending to the awareness of my heart, always brings me to gratitude. And the gratitude is creating a space. It does it. What I just realized, I always, as we talk about, the newness arise from this. But there's in this moment, what I'm seeing really, being the field, being the space that we are, we just get to see what I get to see what I didn't see before. It just is already there. It's not something come to manifestation, but it's my awareness catches. The other day I was walking. You see this? It's the bark of a tree. Actually, I don't know which tree was it, but I just found it. It's just the space in between allows me to see another thread that is already there. But if I'm staying on one thread and not dropping into the abundance of the field that I am, I would not see the next thread. So I am receiving that this wholeness experience is coming from creating this space. That we see that we are being weaved the fabric of wholeness being experienced. I am delighted to be here in this moment. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Charlie Riverman. I live in Maine, USA. It's a joy and a pleasure to be here with each of you, and I hope you can hear me. I usually wear headphones, so I don't know how my speaker works. But as I tap into Shelley, Henry, Nahid, all of which have brought me here, each of you in your own fields, your own space, have called all of us here this morning. And I wasn't exactly sure why. But as I sit here and note that creating space for the new was the theme, how perfect it is that each of us are here in this space, each of us anew, each of us a new being in this moment, and how precious it is on this date of space and time we call New Year's. We are opening the field within our own hearts, creating space for the unknown, that which we had previously thought impossible, perhaps, and yet somehow know on a higher level that our being here is not a coincidence at any level, but we are the weavers of the fabric. And as I began, that's what I saw with this group, was this waving fabric, just floating silken fabric on the waves of peace, light, and love. How better to honor ourselves, honor each other, honor Mother Earth, honor the sky, the heavens, than to be here in this open space and becoming the open space itself. Thank you. I'm complete.
This is Henry. So as Charlie was speaking, I was kind of seeing each of us as different facets of the jewel of the heart. And when we come together and create space, we honor that. And also I was having the feeling of anticipation for the new year, and kind of cultivating that, or resting in that. For me, it also connects a little with the inner child, and maybe even the yearning for the new learning, new growth, the new possibilities of something exciting yet to come. And even though there is, of course, that element of the unknown as what is expressed of kind of even the delight in that unknown and mystery, and the state of readiness to respond in the best way. So I feel complete.
This is Shelley, and I love that in pulling this thread through, it feels like it's the quality of the tone of the frequency, if I can dare say this, feels like it's a really quiet one. It's a very endearing one. I think it's a collective time when people are reviewing their lives and looking to make changes and looking at the places that they've been stuck, or challenges. Personally, I know this morning, in sort of my time alone waking up, just reflecting on some of those challenges, or what my third dimensional body feels like is losing friends, or people, I'm not connecting as much with someone, or surgeries that I've had, that other friends have had. I think that it feels like it's just the invitation, especially right now, is just to deepen into this, a place of really of humility, not of, playing small by any means. It's actually about expanding and spreading our wings and flying more and feeling the joy and delight of that. I think tapping into that inner child, listening to that being shared, just that deep inner yearning to feel this direct communion, direct connection with the field itself, with that vital source of life, with God. You can call it whatever you want, to feel that, that angelic undulation of the space as it's moving and expanding and contracting, because that's totally that's how the energy moves. It undulates. We watch a wave. The beauty of water is that we can actually see it undulating, right? Through the light and through the water molecules. And so I'm just really appreciating this space that we can drop into together. Maybe what comes is just a simple word. Oh, the space, the grace. That's what just popped in. You know, the space of grace. That's really what we're opening up to. That's really what feels good, is when we feel, you know, that the miraculous, or what people call as the miraculous, is just simply this attunement to that state of grace that allows for magic to happen, allows for us to perceive the synchronicities. And we're only perceiving them because some of the time we're not in that, we're not living as an understanding of we are the space. We're becoming the space and we are the space. So just feeling really deeply appreciative this morning with all of you. Thank you. I'm complete.
Hello, all. This is Kate in South Dakota. I'll take the talking feather for a moment. I don't know how to change my settings. Anyway, the space in between. I really am hearing that. So many times, I guess in my experience, I've been unable to see things until I relax my vision enough to see the space in between. You know, like I remember it was about 20 years ago, I was working in rural nursing job, and this gentleman from Texas taught me how to see auras around trees by kind of looking beyond the tree, you know. He looked at the space just around it. So I appreciate this space in between things, and really appreciate what Shelley just said, is when we can just stay in this anticipatory, awaiting, just taking the moments as they come place, you realize how many synchronicities there are. I feel like it's just this divine guiding that kind of nudges us along. And so I'm really feeling into, I have a couple of stories that I could tell about, you know, the softening of the gaze and allowing you to see the space in between. So but we know I'm a never-ending storyteller, and I know there's a lot of people I'd love to hear from. So I'm going to return the talking feather now, and thank you for listening.
this is Henry. I think it was Nahid expressed that creating space is love. So other things, I just love the feeling of spaciousness and the openness and the freedom. So creating space is also kind of opening to a freedom for me. And then that freedom opens to a joy. I guess it connects with that anticipation. Maybe it's the anticipation of some joy, of some newness that is in the offing if I am ready to and open to receive it, to perceive it. I guess just another thought of that idea. I haven't heard it spoken as much, but the idea of the pregnant pause. So in that space, maybe we're kind of in that pregnant pause and we are becoming or opening to become the best attractors of the new that we're yearning for. And in the same way that in each moment we are like becoming the midwives of the new, and maybe even the quantum leap that we are seeking. And in the coming 7 days of rest, it is about creating that space and opening to that, to the unknown part of it, that in each of our actions, each of our thoughts and actions will help to co-create. I'm complete.
I guess I'm chuckling in the moment. And I see, for those of you who can't see, can see Kate chuckling and so many smiling. And I feel like, in some land, we're standing always, every day, at the edge of our own horizon. Like yesterday, I finally went out to the beach and, I was there for sunset and you could just see this grand spaciousness, the ocean, the space, the sky, and at the same time, the horizon. And at the same time, my feet are on earth, standing at the shore. And I feel like I'm chuckling because thinking that, honestly, what's the truth of all this is that, our cells are constantly renewing every single second. Constantly, the dross is coming off. And the new neural networks are happening. And we know that quote, you can never step in the same river twice. So isn't it true? What makes this particular time, the new year, which, and then growing up Jewish, the Jewish New Year, and all these new Chinese New Year, and they're all on different dates. And I just feel like for me, when I drop down in, it's like, this is the impermanent truth of our being, is that we are constantly in this process of newness and making space. And like what was just being said, the joy of that, when we're really aware of that, and when we're not in stress, and when we're not in contraction. And the contraction serves us to wake up. The contraction reminds us of who we truly be, And and I love this, because in creating space for the new, I'm simply creating space for this being to be in, to become more of. And that's what I really love about this particular experience here, is that there's something that it just ignites or triggers the spark that's already there. And maybe the remembrance. And so in just kind of tapping in, it's like the invitation that what I was hearing was the invitation here this morning is also like, well, what new horizon are you standing at? And what's keeping you from that? What are the new messages coming in to you that you can share in this space that can help us as a collective? Because that's really, I feel, just, at least in the world that I'm in, it feels like everybody that I touch gets touched, and they're going to either be touched by the resistance, or they're going to be touched by the presence, that comes from within that pregnant pause. And I'm just kind of letting that muse or just shower right now, because, like, I'm going to go out the door and I'm going to be with my mother, or I'm going to go be with my grandchildren, or I'm going to be creating something. And so how, this opportunity is so beautiful to be in this collective energy here on this particular day. And really, it's a day of creation. With that, I love you all, and pass the talking feather. Kate, you're speaking, but we can't hear you.
Well, I was kind of waiting for someone else, and maybe I didn't even give the bell enough time. I am sorry for picking up the feather again, but I tell you, as Henry was speaking, first time I met Henry, and it may even be the name of the CD, but he was playing these bowls, and he created space in a place that's beyond words, though. And it just seemed so significant as he was sharing his beautiful words. And I remember that experience of feeling, wow, Henry has this ability to take us into this opening that is beyond words. And I don't know, I just really got those kind of chills again as he was speaking today, realizing, because I don't know how many of you are with the work of the bird tribes, but and it's just a fictional, what Ken Casey, I think, is the gentleman that wrote the books. So it's only his imagination, but it talks about a world where the signs come through nature. Like today, I'm in South Dakota and it's snowing and blowing like crazy, so I'm out shoveling snow. Just kind of got in order to, and I guess that's that being in that readiness place of just taking what comes before you and trying to bring as much positiveness as you can to whatever that might be, but I'm just so taken as we're moving to this place where we do feel, you know, because I know I don't improve on the silence. You know, there's nothing more beautiful than just allowing those signs and moments to culminate and propel us. And I know we're exploring this collective horizon together. And anyway, I know that Henry's ability with his, well, his beautiful perspective and just experience with life, but that feeling he captured in me the first time I met him. And now that I know him deeper, I'm just really excited about what opening I will get when I'm with Henry Hole. And I thank you for listening and returning. Somebody can give me the bell, you know, it's okay. I'll take the song.
This is Marion. Can you hear me? Yes, good. Because I'm wearing this new headset that my son gave me, and I have no idea where the microphone is. But it blocks out all the city noises for me. Hopefully, it's not too loud for you here in the middle of Fort Lauderdale. I just am so grateful right now for this gathering and for this opportunity. Last winter, I got a very clear message that I was not to add any items, events, programs, classes, nothing to my schedule in 2019. And so I spent the rest of 2018 being grateful for what I was doing and kind of wrapping things up. I called it my sabbatical. I said, I'm going on sabbatical in 2019. And then when I was inspired by music not too long ago, and thank you, Henry, for your beautiful music, I said to Glenn, I'm not going on sabbatical. That means I'm going to be returning to work. I'm really going on a spiritual retreat. But that didn't quite say it. And when I read the invitation to join you today, I understood that what it is I'm to do is create space. And so when somebody says, what are you doing? I'm going to say, I'm creating space. And I'm delighted to do it with you. Thank you.
So this is Henry, one of the key elements of feng shui, the art of placement, of bringing in or drawing in, attracting the new into one's life, is clearing clutter, is creating space. As long as our homes, our minds, and our hearts are stuffed with things that are no longer serving us, no longer lift us, then we don't have space for something new and for something truer. So for me, a part of it is kind of just opening, even like a game, to how I can create more space, whether it be taking things out of my refrigerator that have been sitting there and I know I'm not going to use because they're old, and creating space, or wherever in my life, in my mind, in my heart, in my body, to doing movement that creates so the engine of my life is running more freely, and the greater fullness of who I am, and my inner child is giving more room to breathe. So all of that. So of kind of in the delight of finding out where I can create space for the newness, for the trueness, for the next step, for what is seeking to emerge in the coming year that we are all collectively yearning for, and continually each day are in a state of readiness for. So anyway, I put the talking feather back into the center.
So I'll take a beautiful breath here. Because we know that we're grains of sand, and in this movement of our love and our attention, so many energies and grains are moving and shifting with us. And this is the point in this call where we like to give space, to create the space for those that haven't had an opportunity to share. And we do that as like being banks of the river. Those of us that have shared, we just stay in that pause, hold the space for those that haven't shared, and give them the opportunity. So with that, those ones that haven't shared, if you feel like you would like to come in and just even a word, your name, anything that you feel that might be moving for you, please feel free, and the rest of us will hold the space. And I'm complete.
This is Dinama. This morning at 4 a.m., I took part in a global peace meditation, which has been occurring since I think the 80s, an annual meditation for peace. And what is there for me is this space of stillness, global stillness, and a sense of holding that stillness in my heart, and knowing that there resides global peace. And the spaciousness of that, of knowing that pulse of silence and wholeness and deep listening, is peace on earth. And I'm complete.
And this is Oriana. And I just wanted to follow Dinama, that while you were speaking, I could feel what you were actually accessing in that meditation, 4 a.m., that was around the world. And I literally could feel world peace as our future. That's what we're turning into, like a ship sailing to safe harbor. 2019, we turn into that higher future, the one that's calling us forth. And it is a world that is a peaceful world, and the universe celebrates. Thank you, and happy New Year.
All right. Well, with that, we just all open our palms to the love that's just raining and showering upon us. And just again, reminder that to go find out, I put it in the chat box, the 7 days of rest. Good to the Whole and the Global Heart Resonance Stewards Council will be offering a daily resonance at this exact same time on Facebook Live for 10 to 15 minutes every day for the next 7 days, and a reflection at night at 8 p.m. Eastern every single night, where you can participate and reflect back over the experiences that you had, as well as I'll just share into the field. Some of us are part of the Loving Waters Council, and we'll be offering at 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll be offering a water wisdom sharing, as well as an opening and closing ceremony. So you just go to the 7 days of rest, or go to the Whole or Loving Waters Facebook page. You'll find them all. And Happy New Year to everyone. And this is how we end our call for those that are new. We all do this beautiful symphonic choir of yum. So we invite everyone to take yourselves off mute. And it goes as simple as this. Yum.
Yum, 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 yum.
Yum, yum. Mwah. See you in the new year. Blessings, everyone. Woo-hoo.